It's been 414 days since the San Jose Sharks welcomed fans inside their home rink, and they were treated to a entertaining matchup, to say the least. But did they get the victory to end their longest losing streak in 15 years? We'll talk about that, how you can help the Sharks and SAP Center stay viable to San Jose, and more. This is Teal Town After Dark. Good evening, everyone. It is Monday night, April 26, 2021. The San Jose Sharks are victorious. Yes, the Sharks win 6-4 in a crazy one against the Desert Dogs. Take your drinks now. Welcome to Teal Town After Dark. This is your live interactive Sharks Postgame. We do this after every single game, home and away. So if you want to be part of the show, chat with us and fellow Sharks fans on the page or the app. Of course, follow us on the social, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Please hit that subscribe button. It really does go a long way. SoundCloud, Reddit, and of course Discord, and find everything at tealtownusa.com. Good evening, everyone. You have Erik and Erik. Landi, I think I need an apple. Does anybody have an apple? Carly, maybe? I don't know. But Landi, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing all right, dude. Doing all right. You know, it's that time of year where we get to split our attentions between baseball and hockey and, basketball. So I'm doing good. I've got sports that really there for me right now.
But most importantly, we have the Sharks ending an 8-game losing streak.
Oh my goodness.
And I didn't think that this was the case, but it turned out to be the case that, this was the longest losing streak for the Sharks since the 10-game losing streak that they had right before they traded for Joe Thornton. Coincidence? I'm not sure. But, deep down inside, thank God this thing, no matter if you're on Team Tank or Team Playoffs, honestly, Landi, to get out of that slump is nice to see. But of course, you talk about other sports teams. They had a little bit of Giants torture in this one tonight.
Oh my gosh. Look, they'll never make it easy on themselves. Even when they win, it's not easy on themselves, right? And I don't know what it's going to take for this team to really sort out its mental issues, but it needs an exorcism or it needs something. My God. Yeah. It was inexcusable after like 4 games, right? And they basically double it. And that excuse of a game over the weekend was just a slap in the face to their fans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that they're out of it, but this team has some real structural issues that are going to need to be examined in the offseason. And I think we see that, on display, number one, with the goaltending tonight. Korenar held his own, had been, played aggressive even when he got burned, and committed to his style of play.
Right.
Jones, is up and down.
That's an understatement.
I'm trying to be as diplomatic here as I can be.
Of course.
But, up and down. And the defense corps continues to make silly mistakes in their own zone. And I see the forwards cheating a lot. So what's going to happen? You're going to have a team that is inconsistent at best. And look, I think it's pretty evident I'm on Team Tank So, in that respect, they got a little bit away from that tonight, of the tank job, but it was good to see the newcomers and and Kane really step up. I think it was
Barabanov.
Barabanov. Thank you. Yeah, so it was good to see just an injection of fresh blood back in there, and I thought VL was doing well, on his line too. So I think right now, to me, I see this as like the September call-ups, dude, where you're just going through and you're trying to figure out who's going to have a job next season.
And that's you kind of paraphrase what Bob Bugner was saying this morning, is that you need to find out who wants to be here next season and going forward. I mean, there's a couple handful games left of this season. You can give them a chance to make it, but it's looking like they're not. But again, this is one of those games where Landi, I kind of said, show us something. Even if you were to lose this game, show us something. And I think they showed us something tonight in that sense. And they got off to a really good start, which I think Bugner has been harking on them big time. I mean, you had Noah Gregor get his fifth at like 17 seconds in, 3 minutes in, Burns gets a seeing eye shot that, which was classic Burns to make it 2-0. And you look on the score sheet, you see Hurdle, Kane on here in the first. I mean, Kane had a 3-point night. You throw in the empty netter to cap off a great night. I mean, yeah, you had a Balsers holding call. We can get into the power play in a little bit. I think for the month of April, they're now over like 2 for 37. But obviously a good start in the first period to get up 2-0 early, and Korenar kept the Desert Dogs scoreless.
Yeah, no, Koji was doing good. That's what I've come to name him, is Koji. Yeah, that seems to be, what kind of flows off the tongue real good. It's a kind of a throwback to Nabby, right? So you kind of get with that ending of the Y. But I mean, dude, I thought that they were awesome in that first period, but I just kept thinking to myself, man, where the hell was this 7 games ago?
Yep.
Where was this at the beginning of the season? And so while I get a little bit of glimmer of hope because you like to see that offense really kicking into high gear, it's like, yeah, but it's so hollow. The victory is hollow. The all the accolades are hollow for this game, because I think when we transition and further into the game, they show us who they really are.
Right.
Who they really are, and insofar as how they, defend in their own zone, how they get this kind of false sense of security when they're up with a lot of goals, and that they can be pushed around. I mean, flat out. I mean, that's kind of what happened in that second period, where the Coyotes were mounting a good pushback. Is they were being physical on the Sharks, and the Sharks didn't have any response.
Right. And at that time it was 4-0. So, like, it's typical Dave Tocchet. Rick Tocchet. I was getting confused. Dave Tippett and Rick Tocchet, both Coyotes coaches. Forgive me there. But yeah, I mean, again, they got off to a great start in the second period. Make it Couture, goals in back-to-back games. Thank God, he's kind of finding his niche. Pattern, he gets his first NHL point. I mean, there's so many firsts in the last couple of games. I'm running out of time making these first point, goal, win graphics, to post online for these guys. But Pattern, Meyer, yay! Meyer showed up on the scoring sheet. Woohoo! Erik Karlsson grips and rip it for his 6th of the season from Kane. That was the night for Darcy Kemper, who who's been lights out before, and then you bring in, oh crap, here comes Aiden Hill because, third string goaltender just seems to be the nightmare for the Sharks, and it started to make things happen. I mean, a minute and a half later, Bunting gets a goal, and then 6 minutes later, Keller. Oh, excuse me. First point for Patterson. My bad, Lacey. Thank you. Bunting and Keller make it 4-2, and all of a sudden, the Sharks are coming back a little bit because they're like, "Oh shoot, we're not done yet. We're not. We're not. We don't have this in the bag." And that's the problem that this team has had all season, is hanging on to a multi-goal lead. And it got really, really scary. Especially going into the third period.
Where's that killer instinct? Where is that killer instinct from this team to really button down and play their asses off in the defensive zone for a rookie goaltender? Right? I mean, if you've got two of the best defensemen in the league, quote unquote, and I say quote unquote because let's face it, both of those guys are not defensemen; they're rovers, and the kid is got a little bit of shaky rebound control at times, but also you want to be able to front the puck a little bit better. You want to just play better in your own zone for him.
Right.
And it's just so infuriating. It just really is, because you can see the glimpses of the good, but then they just kind of slap you back into reality with their brain cramps.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, it's I don't know what to put it. You get comfortable, I think, is part of the problem,
Yeah.
And it's tough to see because, it's like you guys can't, just sit idly and be okay with it. 4-0, like you said, a killer instinct. Just keep putting the pedal to the metal. Send a message that if you are really serious about, trying to sneak into the playoffs like you say you are, show it. Give somebody the attention. Oh shoot, they mean business. This, and then you see Jacob Chikrin. Have yourself a night, my friend. I mean, 2 goals on the night. He gets one, like a couple minutes into the third period to make it 4-3, and then you're like, oh crap. And Landi, I'm sure you were thinking the same thing. It's like, okay, when are they tying this game up? Because it just seemed like little by little something was going to just trigger them.
Yeah, it's that implosion type of play that we've come to expect from this team, where we basically expect the Charlie Brown football moment.
Right.
I mean, what other way is there to put it at this point? And again, I think that's well deserved. I mean, you should be fearful at this point when they have a lead and, they start, slacking off in the defensive zone and their changes get really horrible. Like, to me, that's classic Sharks. That's classic Sharks that has been a staple since the Thornton era. You know what I mean? That really hasn't changed in the last decade. And, for Bob Bugner to be such a, hard as nails kind of tough guy coach, it seems to me that he's kind of given some passes on some guys that need to be, shown the pine. Well,
and we'll say Donato and LeBanc are day-to-day
injured,
or undisclosed injuries. Okay, we'll take your word for it, I guess. But I mean, it makes you wonder, and Kevin Lacey, you're right with us here. I wasn't kidding when I audibly said, "Shh, don't tell the Sharks it's 4-0 on TV."
Yeah,
I mean, come on, seriously.
Exactly. But I mean, he jokes, but it's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
So let's get to some of the. Let's finish up the recap here. I mean, you
Yeah.
saw a parade to the penalty box too, which was crazy. And it kind of alternates like Sharks, Coyotes, Sharks, Coyotes, Coyotes, Sharks. It's like,
Who doesn't want this game the most?
I mean, it shows that he's like, hey, you want to win? No, you want to win? Oh, okay, okay, well, maybe okay. You know, so after Chikrin makes it 4-3, Sharks take a couple of penalties. I mean, Meyer with another tripping call, which, he wasn't moving his feet there. It was a lazy play. Who knows if he's the one that gets to sit on Wednesday. But nice to see Alexander Barabanov, his first as a Shark. I believe his first in the NHL. Picking up the loose.
It wasn't a cheapo. It wasn't a cheapo either.
No. I mean, Kane had a great chance to bury it, and the puck came right out there. And here's the thing: go to the net, and boom. Yeah, he had an open net. He can't miss it. But I mean, shoot, great to see the pickup from Toronto for freaking Ante Suomela make dividends. I mean, it's a nice pickup that could be huge, especially for a guy who was known to be a great goal scorer in the KHL.
Yeah, no, I think so as well. But I think some guys are in the chat and they're saying, well, I mean, is that just because of the lack of talent that we see a guy like Barabanov, do well just because it's again you're shining in a sea of mediocrity? I don't know. It's a good question.
I mean, I thought he looked pretty good no matter what. But this is, I mean, these last few weeks, no matter if you're doing a playoff push or tanking or something in between, which is probably what the Sharks will end up doing, you need to know what you got. Because honestly, if you're not going to make it, then what is it? Spanish archer elbow? Bye-bye.
Exactly.
You're out of here quicker than the stealth jersey. I mean, come on. So, but nice to see that Chikrin makes it 5-4. Of course, Evander Kane gets the empty netter.
Oh man, I was so waiting for that hat trick goal, weren't you?
Shoot. He was feeling it tonight. I mean, kudos to Chikrin. A great night with a couple of goals there. But dang it. Oh man.
Yeah, not good. And again, I think for me at least, he's got to be number 2 on the Norris. I think he's really put together a good year. Leads all defensemen in goals, and I don't know. I think Hedman will probably take it, but I would not be surprised if it's if it's not a neck and neck race between him and Hedman.
And that's what you hope that he does get a nomination, considering he's in Arizona. You're playing in the West Division. You're not getting much time, especially this was a 10:30 start out in the East Coast, where they don't get as many eyes up. So you hope for something there because he's been a heck of a guy for the Yotes. 16 goals on the season. I mean, Evander Kane leads the Sharks with 19 goals. And the Coyotes' defense, as opposed to the Sharks, I think they said on the broadcast tonight, 28% of the Coyotes' goals have come from the defense. I mean, obviously, you have a pretty good one with OEL. You have Goligoski, who was once one of the great defensemen Dallas had for a while, and now Chikrin, who's become eventually a star for them. But
I mean, star-studded defense core, and I think they've got talent not only with veterans, but they also have another wave of defensemen coming in, and that's what makes Arizona so unique, is that they have both guys in their prime, but also guys that they're able to rely on as youngsters.
Yeah. And as we get to like the finale of this divisional rivalry, as the Coyotes will go to the Central next season, depending if not we're under COVID divisions, but you know, maybe it's a good time for them to go. So let's get to some of the comments coming out of the locker room right near. We'll first start off with Bugner here. I thought Korenar just battled hard, and he was still finding his game. The last 2 goals weren't great, but he came up big during their power play. Something you like to have a promising on there. Kane with Barabanov, who got the assist on his first goal. He has skill and good patience. I thought he did a really good job with me and Tomasz. Always nice to see and get some love from a veteran. And of course, Erik Karlsson, 520 fans were in attendance tonight. Like we said, first time since March, I believe March 8th or 9th of 2020 was when the Sharks last had fans in the stands. But EK65 mentioning, the fans brought some normalcy back to the building and they were excited the entire time. A lot of guys were getting some looks and see where they stand for next season, which is interesting because, he doesn't want to be here for a rebuild. But Boomerang fans coming back, it was very cool to have fans back and they were allowed. It was nice to hear "You Suck" before the anthem. Oh, it's the little things, folks. It's the little things, to get that. The fans were just excited as we were have them back. They were happy to be here and support us during these difficult times. It's nice to see that the guys are giving some love, and Vander Kane doing the same thing for 500 fans. They were awfully loud, gave us a boost, especially when the game was getting late. And it's nice to see overall, Landi, to even just a little bit in there. To see just a little bit of a crowd get up for it. You really couldn't quite hear them on the television side, but man, Landi, it makes me miss the tank a little bit more because it's like we would love to be back there. And to the 500 fans that were there, we're fortunate you were able to get in there, and I'm glad you all are doing okay and safe.
Yeah. No, I think they're doing it the right way. And I think that the team, I think is being cautious with this rollout, but it's very warranted. And again, I just brought up today, it's just good to see fans back in the stands. It's just a little less lonely out there. It's a little less hollow. So, I think that it's going to be really exciting to see a live product. However, that excitement might all just slip away once you start watching that product. But I think you can still enjoy going to the rink and, all of the fanfare that comes with the tank. And it's just an awesome place to, hang out and get some human interaction. Right. So, as far as that goes, it's super exciting. However, I think you've teased it enough about some of the developments and developing of what's going on and could affect the fans experience in the future.
Great segue, Landi. Good job. We don't do this for nothing, folks. We don't get that. The standings as beforehand, the Sharks at 43, they sit 5 points out with 8 to play. St. Louis has 2 games in hand, so you're not looking good for it, but nice to see the Sharks get off the schneid there. But as Landi was mentioning, there is a lot going on planning wise going on here for the tank here. You're going to have the Downtown West project is scheduled review by the City of San Jose's Planning Commission this Wednesday at 6:30 to voice your concerns about the future of SAP Center and the Sharks. Let's be honest here. It's not just the building, it's also the team as well. With the Planning Commission, email no later than noon on Wednesday to planning support staff at sanjoseca.gov. That's planning support staff at sanjoseca.gov to get in there to voice your thoughts. You can also share your concerns with elected members of the San Jose City Council by emailing them at city.clerk@sanjose.gov. This is really important here, folks, because the fact of the matter is that the Shark Tank, and Landi, I know you're in San Diego, but you've been up the Shark Tank. It's very comfortable and easy to get to for games. But my
Yeah.
thinking is that you have a whole lot of issues here, and my unfortunately my example kind of went away here, so let me get that back up.
All right, let me vamp then. I mean, just for everybody who doesn't know, I'm originally from Mountain View, right? So I spent a lot of my formative years, especially in East San Jose. So I've got very intimate knowledge of the area and of the Shark Tank itself. So any kind of San Jose is such a unique has such a unique downtown because for such a long time it was a sleepy kind of downtown. There wasn't a lot of high rises and things like that. You had a lot of old craftsman or Victorian style housing, not too far away from downtown. And the Shark Tank was just situated right on the outskirts back in when it opened in 93, right? And it was sitting kind of on the outskirts of downtown. San Pedro, really, that kind of area hadn't really been built up yet. It was still kind of a sleepy part of downtown, and then started getting the things put all around it. You've got that Whole Foods that's over there. You've got that San Pedro Square. You have all the shopping and the restaurants and things like that, going down Santa Clara Street. So, you start packing in more and more densely into that area, and things are going to start to suffer, whether that be parking, whether that be transit in and out of that area, especially because I think 87's right there.
Yep.
So, there's not a lot of space to work with as it is, but then to have this redevelopment program go in there and basically widen or, take down the streets going, to one lane in either direction. I mean, that's going to really stifle the flow of traffic going in and out near SAP Center. Not to mention, the parking area being expanded into yet again.
Right.
So, I think if they do it correctly, meaning they add maybe some underground parking, or they add better access to VTA or whatever, however that's going to happen, there needs to be an offset in the infrastructure to SAP.
I mean, that's a great point, Landi, because lots A, B, and C are the ones that are just in this map are just above the Shark Tank there. The thing is that Google, well, not necessarily Google, but the city wants to develop that land. The Sharks, have right to that land because of the arena deal that they have, and that's kind of just, it seems like the city of San Jose is like, no, we're not going to talk to you, Sharks. I mean, yeah, you've been around for nearly 30 years, and you've been a huge boost to to San Jose.
Anchor.
Yeah.
Anchor of downtown.
Right. I mean, outside downtown, and yes, it's been business development and everything, but it's ridiculous. You look at this map here. You have parking lots A, B, and C, which are on the north side of the building. You don't forget mention the little blue areas have handicap parking, along with drop-off zones in the area. You also have parking for the Diridon station because that's going to be a major hub. No matter what, I mean, you not only do you have the Google project, but you also are going to have BART eventually down the road, whenever, go underneath Santa Clara Street, and that's how they're going to get that into the Diridon station. And you have, and like AJ saying on here too, you have less than 12% of the season ticket holder base live within a 10-mile radius of the arena. So, I mean,
and
it's
that's the problem, because the team, or not the team, but the city of San Jose needs to realize that this doesn't just affect the San Jose metropolitan area. It affects the greater Bay Area on how exactly they're going to beef up transportation in and out of the city.
Right.
And again, if you've got BART coming in, or you've got Caltrain coming in from the other side, or you've got like I said, VTA is kind of over there by that too. The congestion is just going to be that much more, and I'm not seeing a pathway for a lot of automobile traffic.
Right.
And I'm not seeing a pathway for it, and I'm not seeing infrastructure for it. Again, you got to think just about something out, kind of a little bit more out there. It's going to be costly, but again, underground parking or an above ground lot, or something to help offset the loss of all of this parking.
Right. And you lose the parking, but also, just more so than anything, I'll show you the after effect now. I mean, you have the Shark Tank, kind of right in the middle, but your primary lots are now all office, residential, and hotel. You wipe out the under street where where Cahill is, which is where the Alaska Airlines Club level entrance is now.
Right.
That's going to become a street, straight on. And of course, like we said, you're going to turn Santa Clara Street into 2 lanes going one way each level. That's ridiculous. I mean, it just seems like you're asking for trouble. I mean, look, again, we'll give you the comparison here. You have parking down below, which was a huge lot. You have 2 lots that are there for handicap parking, plus parking for, Diridon, and now it's high-rise residential, offices, hotels all around the tank. I mean, I'm from Concord, Landi, and I know you can travel up here to visit family when you're up in the Bay Area, but I mean, I don't know how we would get there. I already leave at like 3:30, 4 o'clock to go down to the game. I'm wondering if I have to leave earlier just to find a parking spot when all of this is said and done. And that's including the construction. I think more than anything, the construction of all this going down. I mean, who wants to go through a war zone? I mean, sometimes, some of the buildings in that area is just ridiculous right now with all the buildings around there.
I think because again, I'm here in San Diego. I think I can also give a little bit of perspective on how a downtown arena works, in conjunction with the city, right? So the Padres here in San Diego are literally next door to the Gaslamp Corner, historic Gaslamp Corner. Everybody knows because that's where you party and all of that. Not that I've done that, but
yeah, sure, Orlando.
But it's near the kind of cultural hub of downtown. And so what they ended up doing was they put a trolley station right next to it. And they didn't have a lot of parking, right? There's a lot of street parking, but they don't really have too many lots. I think they only have 2 lots. And I think one is for season ticket holders. The other is like the pay for it kind of lot.
Right.
And so their solution was to really utilize light rail. So I think if the city of San Jose can really reprioritize light rail, and then let's say, maybe the Sharks do a trade with the city of San Jose, like, okay, you guys can encroach a little bit more on our parking spaces here, but what if you can give us a section of land near one of the VTA stops, or near a BART station where we can direct fans to go to, and then kind of give them like a free little voucher, or open the line that goes from that parking structure to the tank. I think that's the only solution in my mind that can kind of fill that stopgap. But again, you're going to have to be very delicate about that procedure. You're going to have to make sure that the construction doesn't impede the flow of foot traffic coming from the station down, the street. And I don't think we have any idea right now of any kind of plans of how they're going to, execute this. And that's the scary part of it, Eric.
Right. And that's the whole point. I mean, first of all, you have to have the dialogue, and the city is really kind of shut down the Sharks in regards to their concerns for all this. I mean, there was an email that was put out by the Sharks, and it's on the future of sapcenter.com. And that's the problem. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, Kevin uses light rail to get home from games, and he scrambles out of there to hit the last train, and he's like, look what San Fernando going to one lane each way did for traffic. I mean, yeah, I mean, it was really bad. I mean, just leaving my old office on Almaden in San Fernando took 25 minutes to get to Montgomery and San Carlos after they made that change, and that's ridiculous. I mean, and at times, when fans are coming down for games, I mean, at 5 o'clock, it's already backed up with people leaving and such. I mean, I can't. I mean, that's just going to be crazy. And like we're saying here,
oh my God,
with
5 o'clock on 280, dear God,
and 87. With
and 87,
and with one lane in each direction on Santa Clara Street. Imagine the gridlock from cars, buses, scooters, pedicabs, pedestrians, among all that construction when Santa Clara Street's tore up. So
I'd rather have hot pokers in my eyes at that point.
But but the thing is that they're not even considering the arena.
Yeah, no, that's the scary part. Not
Yeah.
only is it not considering, but it doesn't even seem like they have any regard for the way that the arena is going to be put into the plans. It seems like they're kind of an afterthought at this point.
Well, and that's the thing. They need to have this timed out. Don't combine it all at once. I mean, I get what you're trying to do right away to do this, but at the point, at what cost does it come to having an arena and having the Sharks in around? Because good luck trying to get people around there. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And, N. Hernandez is saying, so Puck Guy, what are you suggesting, that we storm the town meeting and tell them to back off? Dude, I, for one, welcome Google Overlord. Honestly, think of Stable Center. It works. Okay. I would say to go email, we have that on the scroll right here. Go email them because, yeah, you're not even considering the Sharks or the arena future. I mean, at this point, I'm almost on the verge of saying, San Jose doesn't really care about the Sharks.
You're a slap in the face.
You're almost like having the dollar sign eyes for Google and everything. And I think both can be cohesive with this all, but at this point, it looks like you're not even including one of your biggest businesses to influence downtown. And that's what I'm trying to get at, because the Planning Commission needs to get these things kind of in order first before we just tear up everything. And, for those who commute to the games, good luck.
Commission a study on the arena and how, or what the percentage of fans coming into the arena, how they get in,
Yeah.
how they, commute to and from the game, and really start to have a dialogue, have this. I want the city to kind of step up at the plate here and have a dialogue with the Sharks, a discussion with the Sharks, with one of the first foundational blocks to the downtown revitalization. I mean, again, that part of town was a dump in
it was a used car dealership before they built it.
Yeah. And again, like, how much did it, not only the sense of civic pride that downtown has for the Sharks, but also all of the restaurants that have been put in, all of the small mom and pop chains that have, supported the team. That, we remember going through the lockout and how they were affected, the downtown arena district, how it was affected by, the lockout and the lack of fans and the lack of foot traffic going in. And when you saw that, that should be a signal to the city planners that, hey, look, like they're a key tenant. They're a key foundational piece to our growth, and we need to be caretakers of them, not totally cut them off at the legs.
Yeah, I mean, you can talk all you want, and one thing that Jonathan Becker, Sharks president, said with AJ today, and that's on our YouTube channel, so check that out. The only defense the Sharks have right now is controlling the parking lots. Becker has said that the time for talk is over. It's time to see action, because they aren't giving them a time to talk. They're like, we need action, and we need things to be taken care of right now. So again, please, the Downtown West project, it's scheduled for a review on Wednesday by the city of San Jose at 6:30. To email your comments, please email. What is it? Where would we have it on here? Shoot.
Hold on, I'll pull it
up
for you.
No, it's it is at let me get this thing out of the way. It's at planning support staff at sanjoseca.gov before noon. I mean, honestly, you need to help this. And even if you're outside of San Jose, this affects everybody. You don't have light rail in Santa Cruz or Los Gatos or roughly in Campbell to work around it. I mean, come on. So Sharks fans, get together, Teal together, as they would say. I know Sharks fan Noel. I'm gonna butcher your name, so forgive me. Noel Bailado, one of our viewers, put out a tweet to get a letter, together. So it's something that needs to happen, because the last thing you need is to have the lack of support show up, and then you're going to hear, you hear what the Coyotes deal with for 25 years from Canadian markets about how they don't care. You think that when the league sees an empty Shark Tank because people are trying to get to the arena, you can't get anywhere? Yeah, it's going to get called out big time. You can also email the city council at city.clerk@sanjoseca.gov in there. You can, you can find out where you can really contract your district councilman at sanjose.gov/your-government/departments/city-council. That was easy to say on there. But definitely, we'll put all these links in the description at the end of the show here, because it's a huge thing. The last thing is last thing you want to see is the beginning of the end for the Sharks in the Bay Area, because really there's no other spot in San Jose for them to go to.
Don't you put that out there. You put that out there.
I don't want to. You know how much I believe Teal, but honestly, downtown is where the Sharks should be, and if they lose this, where else are they going to go? So, all right. That being out of the way, we have 22 likes. We have 41 people watching. If you're still here, we appreciate you. Hit that subscribe button down below. After all that, if we have a Venmo donation at Teal Town USA, that'd be greatly appreciated. Right now, the Sharks are clinging on for dear life for the playoff race. They're 5 points out, with the St. Louis winning tonight. In fact, Blues fans are probably thanking Sharks fans, because the regulation victory for the Sharks helps out the Blues big time, and that's the big one. Billado. Thank you, Noel. So sorry about that. So, so here's the situation at hand. Honestly, of course, Barabanov with the game-winning goal for the Sharks. Good to see. Like Kevin was saying in the chat earlier, he's playing for a qualifying offer. What can he show? I'm curious if Chekovic or Shimlevsky get a chance to go in there. Oh, and Jerry F. always coming in for the love of the wraparound. So, Landi, shall we?
We shall.
All right. Whew. All right. Canadians 2, Calgary 1 to Foley with the game-winning goal. Thank you very much. That helps my fantasy hockey team. Blues 4, Avalanche 1. The Blues have now won 2 in a row. The Avalanche have taken a step back. All of a sudden, the Avalanche just have a 1-point lead for second place in the West Division over Minnesota. So it will be interesting to see if that changes over time. But in Ottawa, or some people say Ottawa, the Senators win 2-1. Josh Norris, oh God, Josh Norris with his 14th of the season for
the gift that keeps on giving, buddy.
Oh boy, the thing is that Ottawa's kind of strung a few here and there. I mean, I don't think they're going to make it, but Ottawa, at 40 points. The Sharks are at 43. I'm just saying. In overtime, Jamie Benn with the back-to-back game-winning overtime goals. He's the first Stars/North Stars player to do that in a 4-3 victory as the Stars beat the Carolina Hurricanes. But the Canes do clinch a playoff spot. Former Shark, quote-unquote, has-been Joe Pavelski with his 21st of the season on the power play to get things going for Dallas in that victory there. In Nashville keeps running, and they are, they're hanging in the playoff race with Chicago and Dallas, and Nashville wins 4-1 over the Florida Panthers. And that one, the Connor McDavid show, my goodness, he had a hat trick tonight. Landi, pull it up for me. How many points is he at now? Because I know he has a chance at 90 for the season, but
who? Patrick Kane?
No, Connor McDavid.
Oh, Connor McJesus.
Yes, Connor McJesus, or Collar McBroken, as he was once known as. But it'd be amazing if he could hit 100 in this 56-game season. But the Oilers win 6-1 over the Winnipeg Jets. As that gets interesting, as they might be jockeying position for who has home ice in round one.
He's got 81 points.
Oh, jeez. And how many games? I think Edmonton has 10?
Yeah.
So if he averages 2 points a game, he's going to get to 156 games. Oh, that'd be awesome. The freeway face-off tonight in L.A., the Kings win 4-1 over the Anaheim Ducks. L.A. was able to solve Anthony Stolarz. They get 4. Dustin Brown with his 17th in the season there. And of course, the Sharks win 6-4 in that one. So that is your wraparound for this evening. But man, oh man, it's going to be a fun race. I mean, yes, the Sharks are pretty much out of it. They're still clinging on, but I'm curious for some of these playoff chases. I mean, the one in the Central between Nashville, Chicago, and Dallas, I think that's going to be interesting. I mean, well, Chicago's kind of fallen back a little bit, but Dallas is right on the cusp with 2 games in hand. The Rangers, who if this was a regular season, they'd be in right now. They're 4 points back of Boston. Montreal, how will they go up against Toronto in round one? It looks like that's what will be the matchup eventually, unless Calgary or Vancouver get on a roll. And of course, the one in the West, which I think has been quite interesting, Landi, with St. Louis and Arizona, kind of backing into a playoff spot.
No, I don't want it. I mean, really, that's kind of what we've come to.
Yeah, at this point, for sure. So, all right. Well, in case you missed anything and you want to watch this again, check us out on tealtownusa.com or your favorite podcatcher, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and always available at tealtownusa.com. So Landy, Wednesday night, Sharks and Desert Dogs do it again at the Take. Uh, yeah, it's going to be quite a game.
Yep.
I mean, again, it's a must-win game for probably both squads, and for Arizona, they probably need a lot more than the Sharks do right now. But oh boy,
Yeah. I'm not getting my hopes up at this point. You know what I mean? And I'm just, just letting it all soak in. Let the mediocrity penetrate your soul.
penetration phrasing, as Brett Hedrick would say for tonight. We'll do one tankathon here. The Sharks still have the 8th best odds at 6%. Let's see what we got here. Come on, and we got Anaheim and Calgary going
9.
1 and 2. Oh boy, and the Sharks fall down to number 9. That's great. Yeah, it's two.
Well, hey, Logan was picked at 9.
True. I think also Meyer was as well. So we'll see.
I don't know if I would want to bang that drum.
With Rantanen going right after him. Anyway,
Exactly.
Anyhow, Landy, good to see you, bud. Your final thoughts on where the people can find you.
Final thoughts. I guess just continue to enjoy the firsts that we get to see with the team. Get to kind of take a look with with some skeptical eyes on the new guys coming up to see what they've got for next year. And as far as where you can find me, you can use my first name. That's ErikLandi at all of the social media garbage.
Alrighty. Thank you, of course, good friend of mine. And you can find me at PuckGuy14 on the Twitter, the Instagram. We will be back with you on Wednesday following Sharks and Desert Dogs. That game is a huge one for both of them. I believe that's at 7:30, if I'm not mistaken. But now, the conversation continues on our Discord channel, so jump on over there. And until then, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal. Have a great night, everyone. We will see you Wednesday following Sharks and Coyotes Part 2.